welcome back everybody to another special video. You see him on the screen, no introductions needed. How you doing, Dom?
I'm doing okay, Cody. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Busy week, but of course we had to get together before we're into July officially, and I wanted to get Dom's opinion on some of the collected editions coming out in July. You guys know we do this video every single month. It's a big hit on the channel. People love seeing you here, Dom. And of course, the site that we're using for all this great information is comicreleases.com. Something of maybe you could say Dom's brainchild. I don't know. Is that a term? I forget.
I think that is partly appropriate. But yes, it is.
Nice.
It is a term. It is a term.
There we go. So comicreleases.com. We like to sort by and filter on everything releasing in the month of July, and as you guys can see, ton of different hardcovers, trade paperbacks, omnis, maybe even a couple DC finest. But did any of these make our lists? I'd love to hear your guys' lists down in the comments. What are the 5 most important collected editions that you'll be picking up in the month of July? With that being said, I like to start with Dom. Let's throw it to Dom's number 5 pick, Crisis on Infinite Earths Absolute Edition. Dom, tell me about it.
I can't wait to see that. We've been waiting for months for this, and more months because this book got delayed from my birthday week to the start of July. A 5-month delay for this one book, okay? But they're remastering everything to make sure that this is as true to the beauty of the source material as possible. This is the event that's it literally shaped the way that we view events. Even if the story, which in my opinion has a lot of pacing flaws, but my goodness, like when those moments hit, it turns into, wow, this is an event. It quite literally changed the course of the comic book industry. And I can't wait to see it all in full. I can't wait to see it in that lovely prismatic absolute size edition. And they've got a whole bunch of extras too, with a whole lot of essays from all of these comic book titans in the second book, because they're splitting it off with your main Crisis in one book, and then the second is where all of your extras will be. And I can't wait to see that.
So, like Dom is saying, I'll just throw it on the other screen so you guys can see too. It's important to note that this is going to have the prismatic effect like Dom is saying. So, if you guys can see, this picture's not the best, right? And obviously it's not a video, so you can't see kind of like the holographic nature of it. But yeah, when they released the way that this Absolute Edition is going to look, that really, really got people excited. Seems like a lot of care is being put into this collected edition. I think Omar was the first one to show it off, so there we go.
Oh yeah, Omar literally texted me.
Yeah.
And said, hey, could you guys put this up on my social media in the upcoming day? I'm very, very jealous that he got a chance to. That was original. That like right there was a mock-up. That wasn't even the full thing yet. But
gotcha.
I was just so shocked when I saw it for the first time.
Well, I'll be honest with you. My number 5, well, we'll just mention it here because it lines up. My pick as well, Crisis on Infinite Earths Absolute Edition. I think that as a story that I've not read before, maybe this isn't the first format that I'm going to check it out in. I think there's a compact comic coming out that I want to give it a try in that kind of format before possibly upgrading to the Absolute. But you can't deny that this is quite possibly one of the most beautiful collected editions that DC has ever put together. So much care and love was put into it. As Dom mentioned, a bunch of essays, a lot of great stuff if you're into that bonus material like I am. You got History of the DC Universe as well. And yeah, you just have the full 1 through 12 main series. And yeah, just a really great option for those that really, really love this story. Of course, from the legends, Wolfman and Perez. So that's a great first pick for both Dom and I.
I will also say, Cody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In addition to this, I know that there has been, I think partly a misconception that you want to read all the times for this event, because there were so many books that ended or had their plans changed. Like you look at Justice League of America, or even small books like Batman, where they mention, hey, there are red skies, and those red skies are just Batman. Crisis on Infinite Earths. You don't need to read any. You don't need to read any of the tie-ins for full enjoyment.
Gotcha.
It helps to have had experienced DC Comics for like the previous couple of years before this, but it is as long as you know who some of these like core tenets or characters are, you're gonna be fine jumping into it. I know that the events aren't the best way to get into DC overall. Like if you were to read Final Crisis or perhaps Dark Knight's Metal for the first time, you're probably asking why the heck is this happening to all of these characters?
Why the heck? Yeah.
Yeah, just why the heck? But if you are somebody who at least has an inkling or understanding of how things work in the DC universe, you can go in fine just reading those 12 issues.
There you go. Okay, yeah, so good to know, because I know obviously they have the Finest and, the Finest Part 2 and all that stuff that includes all those other tie-ins. And I'll say this too, I'm loving the post-crisis kind of era of DC, so in my mind, this is kind of a good way to kind of cap off, obviously, things prior to it, and then I can get right into that post-crisis material that I've really been enjoying. So, yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Absolute Edition, definitely on my wish list at some point. But throwing it to Dom's number 4 pick, a DC Finest, of course. Tell me about Hard Traveling Heroes.
I have been waiting for a billion years to finally be able to own this. I've only read the material in here digitally. Of course, many of you know this as the moment where both of these characters changed. Dennis O'Neil got onto the scene in the 70s and decided to revamp a whole slew of DC characters, including Diana, of course, Bruce Wayne, as you all know, Batman. But he was also responsible for adding, I think, a layered effect on comics and pushing them past the, hey, these are really cool stories with some of these characters. There wasn't spice to it. The spice here is that Green Arrow and Green Lantern look at the sphere of the world differently, and those manage to be side by side in the Green Lantern book for a good amount of issues. This is probably going to also double dip, I am very heavily assuming, with the Green Arrow Hard Traveling Heroes whenever he gets that DC Finest, because that just is the course for all of these books. But this is something that I'm very excited to own for the first time again, and I cannot wait to own this in DC Finest format.
So, happened again, Dom. Another one that lined up with one of my picks. And so the reason why I wanted to throw this one on there, I'm thinking about potentially downgrading from the Hard Traveling Heroes Omni that I have. Now you're mentioning some double dip potential. So is that kind of the idea that, so they have the Green Lantern, Hard Traveling Heroes. We're assuming eventually the Green Arrow side of it will get released. And then, but you're saying they might have a bunch of cross issues between the two DC
cross
Finest?
Issues. Obviously, the Green Arrow one will have Green Arrow appearances if he happens to be in a Justice League of America issue, for example. Green Lantern, the same thing. Like you see with the Flash and World's Finest, those are issues that he also just happens to be in. So it's not like 100%, but because those two are closely aligned, it's just the nature of the beast.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So, potentially some double dipping to be aware of. I'm not like Ray. I'm not a triple dipper. I'm not a quadruple dipper typically, but sometimes it's hard to avoid. I think that for these DC Finest, I'm okay with it for the lower price point, and just because I got that Omni for it was like $50 or something like that. I've not opened it. I've not read the material before. I think that it's not an Omni that I'm attached to. You know what I mean? It's just not an Omni. I'm looking to downgrade it potentially into the Finest, and it's really cool seeing them exploring all these different eras in the DC Finest. Of course, this is some pre-crisis material. Obviously, I've been reading a lot of the post-crisis Green Arrow stuff with the Grell run, excellent there. And I will say this too. I've not read very much Green Lantern at all. Would you say that this is a highlight of Green Lantern's history?
Yes.
Because I hear good things about it.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
Yeah.
This is a must get.
Okay, nice. Awesome. Yeah. So there we go. Green Lantern Hard Traveling Heroes in the DC Finest coming out at the tail end of July. That's Dom and I's fourth pick. Dom, you got another DC Finest on here. Tell me about the Suicide Squad Nightshade Odyssey.
I can't believe it. We have a really stacked month of DC Finest coming out, and Suicide Squad just happens to be one of the next. Listen, I love that first DC Finest. It is just as amazing as advertised for anybody who has never read any of the Ostrander Suicide Squad material. Yeah, this is a must get. You fall in love with these characters that you're not supposed to. Bronze Tiger, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot. Yeah, who gives a crap about any of these guys? Well, John Ostrander found a way for people to care about these guys in the late 80s. The best part, too, you don't know when Amanda Waller is going to pull that trigger or say that, yeah, no, we don't need your services anymore. Your life is kaput. And seeing those guys on the edge really does make you feel something. But this is more of their adventures, and I really want them to continue with the line in this format, and same with the Omnis, and make sure that we can get all of Ostrander Suicide Squad happily, so I can tuck it right next to the other Suicide Squad DC Finest that I have lonely sitting on my shelf.
Would you say that? So this is number 2. Sounds like in the sequence. Okay, because you in particular, and then also Omar. I mean, you guys speak so highly about this run. Might have to dip into it. I've never, like you said, I've never been a Suicide Squad guy. It's never been like a team that jives with me typically. But I mean, it sounds like John Ostrander really had a grip on these characters and these situations, and it sounds like a lot of great comics came out of it. So yeah, just the way that you speak about it and the way that Omar speaks about it, this might be one that everyone needs to pick up at some point.
Essentially so, and Ostrander will be the only run you'll ever need, Cody. That's the best part.
Nice. Okay, so after this, after Ostrander's time on the Suicide Squad, maybe they go back into, you know, kind of that B tier, C tier, I guess is what Dom's saying a little bit. I got you. Okay, cool. So yeah, Suicide Squad, the Nightshade Odyssey, another DC Finest releasing in the month of July. This one on July 21st, okay? So a week before the Hard Traveling Heroes one, you guys can find that one at your comic shops. Let's say for number 3, for me, Dom, let's go Planetary, okay? So this is a series that I've heard very excellent things about. I tried reading the first couple of issues on DC Universe Infinite. It was jiving with me. It was like just weird enough. But I think the artwork is really what kind of drew me in. So if I'm not mistaken, I think this is artwork from Cassidy, right? Is that right?
The late legendary John Cassidy.
So rest in peace to a legend. Yeah, but I hear, and obviously, who's the writer on this? Is it Ellis? I want to say.
Yes, Warren Ellis.
Okay, Warren Ellis. So I don't know. Maybe have you read Planetary before?
I love this book, dude.
Okay,
I freaking love this book. One of my favorite Ellis stories ever. Overall.
Gotcha. Yeah. So this is one that I just hear really great things about. It's in that compendium format, so it sounds like it includes the entire thing. I don't need to get a second collected edition after this. So yeah, I would like to pick up Planetary. Maybe Dom, and not to put you on the spot, could you give us like a little synopsis or a little rundown on what maybe people can expect into this one? Because I've not read this material before besides the first couple of issues, but
yeah, man. So this is part of the Wildstorm universe that DC, or that they were placing out, eventually got bought out by DC. But what you're looking at are like alternate versions of heroes that fit within that. So for example, like how can we place like Doc Savage and Tarzan into their own Spectre and part of that Wildstorm universe? But you also have like this being a look at the super genre in whole. Like I think what Warren Ellis was doing great at the time was sort of looking at the overall foundations of superhero comics, right? Very similar to what you did with Authority, and saying, like, what can we do to emphasize the importance of this genre? What it turns out to be is this like really emotional story over all of these characters that you fall in love with in ways that, yeah, like I typically don't expect it out of Wildstorm books. No offense to my friend Peter, but I find a lot of their material lacking, but this is something that will absolutely touch your heart by the end of the series. So if that is something that you're into, you should absolutely check it out.
Nice, yeah. So the emotions is kind of what draws me in. The Cassidy is the artist, just trying to get some more exposure to some of his stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I've not read any Wildstorm stuff at all, right? So I'm pretty sure this would be like the first kind of me dipping my toe into it. So yeah, when this comes out in mid-July on July 14th, I think it's coming home with me, man. If I see this in the shop, I think it's on site that I'll be picking up this compendium. So a lot of great material there. I'm trying to think if I've read like any of Ellis's stuff too. Maybe not so much. Wait, does he does a lot of war stuff, right? Like he's done war stuff.
That's
in the
Garth
past,
Ennis,
or...
not Warren
That's
Ellis.
Garth Ennis. I get Ennis in. I get them mixed up so much, Tom, because I've not explored both their backgrounds.
It's the alliteration on top of the double letters. I understand.
Right. So I get them mixed up a lot. Okay, so there we go. Planetary Compendium will be my number 3 pick. Let's jump over to Dom's number 2 pick. You a Daredevil fan by chance, Dom?
I do love Daredevil.
Tell me about the Nocenti and Romita Jr. Omnibus Volume 2, and also which cover you plan on getting.
So yes, I love Daredevil. If anybody doesn't know that, you probably don't know me. Pandemic hit, 2020. The only thing I wanted to read were Daredevil comics. So I binge read from Bendis through Brubaker to I had already read the Wade run the year before because my comic shop sold the 4 oversized hardcovers that I eventually gave to a friend who I no longer see on a daily basis. So it's kind of sad. But here I am, back with stuff that I've only read digitally. But this is the second half of the Nocenti run. As many of you may know, she is the creator of, or co-creator of Typhoid Mary, along with, well, as fun of a series and as downer of a series. By downer, I mean emotionally, not like story-wise, as you can get. This is the second half. I'm going to be over here spending money like a baloozer trying to collect every single Daredevil Omni that exists on the shelf. But this is something that I absolutely look forward to getting back again, rereading, and I love Daredevil is really all I can say.
I like Daredevil too. This one didn't quite make my list. I don't have the first one to kind of pair it with, but I need them at some point. Like you're saying, as someone trying to collect like the full set of Daredevil Omnis, starting from the Miller stuff. I don't need anything prior to that. If you're mad about that, yell about it in the comments. But yeah, I mean, just having some excellent, like, Miller to Bendis to Brubaker to Wade to Soul. I have some Zdarsky stuff as well. This is a gap. You need the Nocenti stuff. People, maybe one of the most overlooked Daredevil runs. I've not read this material. I don't know how you feel about that statement, but I gotta like say it's probably the most underrated, right?
I agree with that.
Overlooked, right?
I also will say, Cody, the first Omni got out of print the first week it came out.
Yeah, so you're thinking this one too? This one
is absolutely going, because volume 2s get printed way less.
Yeah.
And it's because it's also an Omni that people have been begging and asking from Marvel for like the last 7 years.
Because it is just like, hey, you guys are printing a lot of Omnis, that's cool. You're printing a lot of Daredevil Omnis. What about this Nocenti run? Everybody was saying, yeah, so okay, I remember that. I remember the hype when this one was coming out. So yeah, okay, might have to put the gas on it in terms of
I'll probably also just get the regular cover.
Gotcha.
Nothing against Mark Bagley. I just want to listen, man. You got to get. I like Romita Jr. more than most folks. So this is
especially there's some controversy right now, Don. We don't have to get into it here, but geez, Louise, people be hating Romita's Spider-Man covers, especially nowadays. But
hey, man, I love his Spider-Man. I know that for some.
I think I still maintain it's the colorist. Whoever's coloring his stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Nowadays, I don't know if they're matching the vibe, but you look at his past. Look at this cover. This cover's badass, dude. People act like he's never done. You know, he's a legend. He's a legend.
He is a legend. He's a living legend. He's also like in his 60s, guy, like mid late 60s. Give the guy some slack.
Yeah, let's see how you guys are, art wise when you're mid to late. Yeah, come on. Anyways, All right, so that's a great number 2 pick from Dom. We'll have to see what his number 1 pick is. But for me, my number 2 pick, let's go with another volume 2, Dom. Let's go Wonder Woman by Perez, volume number 2. So I don't have the first volume in my collection at this point. I'm waiting for that, but I recently read, it's just out of frame.
You got that absolute on you that you found at that one spot, yeah.
I got this absolute, this was like half off because it was technically used, pre-owned. And man, what an excellent read. You just see how much of a legend George Perez is, and just like he had such a handle on Wonder Woman and just her entire mythology. You're bringing in the Greek mythology, you're kind of marrying the two. I found this absolute edition to be one of my favorite reads of the year. One of my favorite reads of like, I don't know, the last like 2 years, something like that. Like, it's just so good. So I need to have this in an omnibus format to collect the entire run, because this is great stuff, but I think it's only like 14 issues or something, like maybe 16. It's not that long, right? So you'd obviously want to collect the entire, if you really enjoy that material, you got to get it in the omnibus format as well. Now, the only thing I'm wondering, Dom, because I could also see myself collecting it in the finest. I don't think that this material, this run in particular, isn't in the finest quite yet.
Not yet.
But because I'm a little worried, because then you get to like the War of the Gods, I believe, and like that whole thing. So like maybe you need that Omni 2 to complete like the 1, 2, 3 set or something like that. So I don't know.
But I'm sure that they'll also collect War of the Gods and Wonder Woman DC Finest as well. That's
what I was wondering. So yeah, maybe, because like obviously the omnibus format's great, hardcover, oversized George Perez artwork would be nice, but maybe the finest, if it can beat me, if it can make it to the format before I can get my hands on volume 1, like I'll have to make some decisions, right? But
hard decisions.
I just know that for sure George Perez's Wonder Woman material needs to be on my shelves in some way. You know what I mean? So So there we go. What would you say, Dom? Would you say that the first half of George Perez's run on Wonder Woman is like maybe better than the second half, or like how would you kind of compare the two, or maybe
I like it all, but I like the first half more than the second half.
Gotcha. Yeah,
sense for like
just like the way it starts in the absolute. I mean, it just like kind of sweeps you away, and you're just on this adventure. So yeah, absolutely, cool stuff there. Let's move to Dom's number 1 pick. And we know that Dom likes DC Finest here, Dom. So tell me about the newest Batman DC Finest, Blind Justice.
Man, this is the follow-up to the Batman Death in the Family DC Finest trade paperback. So right after you see the end of the Robin that Bruce Wayne has had in tow, this is where you're going to follow it up. And the main story here, Blind Justice, is a 3-issue series written by Sam Hamm, who was the screenwriter for the '89 Batman film, and he's paired up with Dennis Cowan, early Dennis Cowan, under that. It's not like we haven't seen Dennis Cowan art before. He had in the Batman Year 1 and Year 2 DC Finest, he had a couple of stories drawn with Jim Starlin on writing, so it's not like he's a stranger at all to Batman lore. But what I particularly love about this DC Finest is that we're going to see Batman handle being accused of treason and being sent in against somebody named the Bone Crusher. And all of these stories are very big as we race through to Detective Comics 600. One other thing that I will also say is that this, if they follow this up chronologically, which I don't think we're going to be getting for quite a while, because it seems like DC wants to cover some other eras of Batman, like the Silver Age. No, not the Silver Age, sorry, the Bronze Age, and also the mid-'70s Len Wein material with Detective Comics. The next volume, chronologically after Blind Justice, will be Tim Drake's introduction in A Lonely Place of Dying crossover.
There we go.
Batman and New Titans. So
that's where you'll get me. That's where you'll get me for sure. Okay, nice.
So I'm very excited, and these are all a dream, man. I can't believe that we're about to head through 3+ years of Batman material, and soon to be 4. before we get into the crossover heavy laden 90s. And that's going to be a trip whenever they get to that.
Yeah, very exciting, guys. If you're keeping track of these DC finds, obviously that's why we love having Dom on the channel to speak to them. Just so knowledgeable about all this great material. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that this one may be less important on my DC Finest, like, wish list just overall. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I think I'm enjoying the DC Finest exploring other characters and stuff like that versus just a lot of the great Batman material. I'm just not, like, in a rush to read some of this stuff, but particularly this era. But like you said, once you get that Tim Drake, once you start doing those 90 crossovers that I haven't read before that people always speak so highly about, then I think that'll get me. But yeah, okay, cool. So Batman Blind Justice will be Dom's last pick for the month of July. This one's coming out on July 14th. Tons of great DC finest. Wow, a lot of great stuff there. Dom had 3 of them on his list. Very cool. Number 1 for me. Let's head over to the dark side. Let's head over to John Constantine.
What?
I'm saying teen, by the way. I'm saying teen. Don, what do you say? Teen or Tyne, okay?
I think it's time because, what's his name? Cy Spurrier told me that it was.
He told you it was time. But he's British, though, isn't he?
He's British, yeah.
So I feel like these British people, but I guess he is a British character. Okay, but every time I say Constantine, I get like 4 comments or like, it's Tyne, you idiot. It's like, guys.
You know who
man.
we're talking about. It's like, so it's,
yeah,
before
dude,
you get into it,
oh my God.
It's like you see a minor spelling error on a random publication at Target or something at checkout, but your brain doesn't immediately go, oh, I don't know what that thing's trying to say, because your brain still
yes,
those
dude,
puzzles,
yes.
right? So I feel like either is appropriate in that regard.
It's like, yeah, you guys are being... And listen, no offense, guys, but you're kind of being comic book dorks. You're kind of being the comic book nerd from The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure he would type, it's Tyne, you idiot. Like, keep that in mind, guys. Try to be a little more self-aware. But yeah, with that being said, John Constantine Hellblazer is a character that I've been loving. Every time he's appearing in some stories, like right now I'm reading him in Jeff Lemire's Rot World, like the Animal Man stuff, and Constantine is a pretty big character in that. But I've always seen Constantine as like a side character. He's always like, if you ever need some help with the magical stuff, you hit up John Constantine. But I haven't read like a Hellblazer run. Like, here we go, we're rocking and rolling with the character. So I want to get this, of course, the name that speaks to me the most, though, Sean Phillips on the top, right? So just seeing some more of Sean Phillips stuff. And I like the fact that, you know, I like the opportunity to check out his stuff away from Ed Brubaker. So it's kind of like, you know, you read some Ed Brubaker stuff without Sean Phillips, you read some Sean Phillips stuff without Ed Brubaker, and you kind of see how they both work. But then, obviously, when they come together, they create magic. But, yeah, just exploring some more of these creators before they were the creators that I know and love, right? So, yeah, John Constantine Hellblazer. Paul Jenkins, I haven't read much of Paul Jenkins stuff, but I hear that this run is pretty well regarded. What are your thoughts, like, just overall on this one?
I flipped through some of the pages here because I need to at least have at least some, like, baseline for blindly recommending things to people. Sean Phillips' art here is absolutely tremendous, dude. Like, it fits the tone so well of what you're expecting in the book. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I love hearing that, Dom. Especially as someone who, you know, I read Fatale, right? So, yeah, had that exposure for Sean Phillips, like more dark, occult, kind of magic-y kind of vibes. But I'm sure this is chock full of it, like you're saying, right? So, yeah, that sounds awesome.
The best part, too, like, one of the things that I love about this part of John Constantine is you getting to see what I think most people attribute to it. I think if you talk to somebody like Cy Spurrier, like Dan Waters, even Philip Kennedy Johnson about this, because those three love the character, they'll speak more highly to his solo stories after he leaves the DC universe in Crisis on Infinite Earths, where he's doing his own thing, rather than, oh, he's a part of Justice League Dark, or, oh, we're going to get him on some random guest story issue when you need help with something magic related. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see you get into this material as well.
Nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, this one is pretty high up on the wish list, guys. Obviously it's my number 1 pick, but this is one that, like, I need pretty soon, guys. So there we go. Great Great 5 collected editions from me, great 5 collected editions from Dom. Of course, the site we're using where you can get all this great information is comicreleases.com. They got all tons of great information besides just a list of all the upcoming collected editions. You can check out solicits, you can make a little watch list, you can subscribe to their Patreon and, you know, order things and keep track of everything coming out. So yeah, I don't know. I'll throw it to Dom for some last words, Dom. Where can people find you? And comicreleases.com, why don't you do a little plug?
So we have an upcoming update to the watch list where people will be able to tinker more with what they're looking at. If you are a Patreon subscriber, of course, you need to be subscribed to. We only have one tier. $2 is all we ask for, which is less than a cup of coffee nowadays. Also helps keep the site up and running so that our servers don't die. So any $2 is much appreciated. Obviously, the whole entire other parts of the website are free. It's just the $2 that gets you that watch list. But we are doing a massive update to the watch list where you will be able to, if I can even tease it, I tease it on Jess's show. We are going to be allowing people to see, oh, what are you expecting to see prices at? The estimated price if you are buying something off of in-stock trades or of cheap graphic novels or Amazon. If that is your thing. There
you go.
If that is your thing, you want to see, like, how much am I approximately thinking of spending for a particular book, you're going to be looking at that. So that's something that we're very excited for. You obviously check me out on my own channel where I recently, I put out a Supergirl review video because I had a lot of thoughts on the movie. But people seem to have really, really liked me reviewing, even though it was my first one that I've done solo. I'll also probably be doing those for the entirety of X-Men 97 Season 2, because some days I feel like I actually do have to fulfill my obligations as an X-Men fan. I know, Dom of X, and they don't review X-Men comics. Like, what's up with that, man? So that's going to be out there soon. And Cody, thank you for letting me join you once again on talking about all of these books that are upcoming next month.
It's always a pleasure having you on, Dom, of course. And if you guys want to check out the other side of the collab that we did, we of course did Solicitation Station for Dom of X's channel, so make sure to check that out. And make sure to check out his Supergirl review, like you said. I actually haven't read it yet or watched it yet just myself, but gotta hear some of Dom's hot takes. There we go. Thank you guys for watching again, and read more comics.